Hey folks, and welcome to Drinking Alone with Friend, a podcast where we sit around and drink beers and stare at each other's faces. My name's Chris.
My name's Obert, and we're sitting here, the Yule log crackling.
Yes.
Carolers wandering the streets, angrily asking for figgy pudding, demanding it, some might say.
Yeah, they're trying to sing through their mask and cannot. It's very muffled. Just
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Caroling's probably not a COVID-approved activity.
You go outside and all you hear is Charlie Brown's teacher. For the kids out there, Charlie Brown was a cartoon / comic book strip.
Do you feel like now that you're a father, you're realizing more and more like the things that you grew up with are not the things that everyone grew up with?
Oh my God, it's terrible. Not only is it this, but also like streaming and stuff. Like the community is just so young, and I'm like, oh God, I'm 1,000 years old. I'll be like, oh yeah, well, people know Charlie Brown. Charlie Brown's probably a bad example, but like, I don't know, talking about music and mentioning, the Backstreet Boys or NSYNC or I don't know, what's a really cliche 90s song that came, O-Town or whoever, but like people don't know who these people are anymore, and I'm like, okay, this is ridiculous. Why is this a thing? It's ridiculous. And then like the one thing I am proud of as a father is that my love for Pokemon has been instilled upon my son. So
no matter what, you got that going. But I'm sure like people come to your stream and you're like, back in my day, you had to use strength to push the truck to find Mew. You had to use the missing no glitch to get unlimited rare candies.
unlimited rare candies and Master Balls, yeah. But like I'll say stuff like that in stream and they'll be like, that's not a thing.
Crickets.
That's not something I know. And I'm like, no, you know it. You just forgot.
Yeah. There were no ghost Pokemon, just the 3.
Yeah, there were just three ghost Pokemon. And guess what? Only 3 dragon Pokemon. But yeah, it is crazy. Like how I read something online, and you see it all the time where it's like that 70s show was released in 1998 or something like that, and now you can have that 90s show with the same like
if it was released today,
it would be that 90s show.
That would be that 90s show.
Yeah, and I'm like,
and that'd be the same year gap.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, stop it.
That's uncomfortable to me. Yeah.
I'm not that old yet.
Yeah.
But apparently I am that old. And yeah, having kids is crazy. Oh, man.
Makes you feel that much older.
I know, because even like the kids shows I used to watch like back in the day, like they're probably still on because it was like Sesame Street and Barney and stuff. But like, that's not what CJ watches. CJ watches Cocomelon and the Wild Kratts. The Wild Kratts is big.
Wild Kratts?
Yeah.
How about Bubble Guppies? Is he into that?
No, he hasn't caught on to the Bubble Guppies yet.
Paw Patrol?
Paw Patrol, yes. He does love Chase. He loves Chase, and he knows them all. Because I don't know them all. But there's two that I think are very close in name from what CJ says. But yeah. So these are the new things. He doesn't watch Sesame Street anymore, or he never did, but neither do I. I don't watch it either, actually, for the record. But we're old, and he turns 3 in what's today, the 21, when this comes out, the 21st. So he turns 3 next week, and I'm just not ready for it.
Well, happy almost birthday, CJ, who's almost the same age as our podcast, I guess. Our podcast started a little bit later.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, but 2 is the number of the day on today's podcast, and that's how many drinks. That's how many drinks we're bringing you on this special edition of Drinking Alone with Friend. As always, Tud sends his wishes from his recovery recliner. We say he's recovery recliner, but he's like back at work by now. He's just still.
I mean, to be fair, he's still working from the recliner, but.
Right. That's a good point. But let's just get right into it today, because before we recorded, I shook myself up a cocktail So as we creak open Obert's liquor cabinet here. Thank you, Chris.
You're welcome.
And this week I have a real lesson in how to MacGyver up a cocktail that you want to make using limited ingredients at home. So if you're a purist, you don't like messing with recipes, you should probably turn off this podcast right now. Hit stop, go to iTunes, give us 5 stars, and then recommend us to 3 friends and then stop listening, because this episode is not going to be for you. But this is actually going to be the final installment I have of living in your parents' house, the hit segment of the podcast. I'll tell you about what it's like to live with my parents. They have a pretty good bar at home, and I decided this week I wanted to make a Mai Tai.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's what I'm bringing on the show today. And I love a good classic Mai Tai. And when I was back here in Connecticut, I wanted to get some rum I can't find in Montana. It's called the Real McCoy. I'm not sure how widely available it is, but I know I haven't seen it far out of Connecticut. I did get this bottle at Shoreline Liquors in Waterford, so shout out to them. This is their 5-year aged bottle, and I was like, yeah, I love with a good spiced rum, a good gold rum, to do like a rum and Coke, but what are some other cocktails? Like, you know what? Let me make a Mai Tai. So I did what's available in their house. So let me first read off the recipe as written. In a real Mai Tai, you need 4 parts of gold rum, 1 part orange curacao, 2 parts fresh squeezed lime juice, 1 part orgeat syrup, and 1 part simple syrup. And, I was a solid 2 for 5. 2.5 for 5 if you count the lime juice from the bottle versus the fresh squeezed lime juice on that recipe list. But it didn't stop me. So I'm just going to start by digging into this cocktail, describing it, and then I'll reveal how I put my own special twist on a Mai Tai, and maybe a little bit of history behind the Mai Tai, as we always like to get into here on Obert's Liquor Cabinet. So without further ado, it's Liquor 30, and I'm thirsty.
Interesting. It's like a Frankenstein's Mai Tai. Dr. Frankenstein's Mai Tai.
This is pretty good. If I didn't know any better, I would say this is like someone tried to make a Mai Tai, but they were missing an ingredient.
They were missing 2.5 ingredients or so.
Yeah. Now, this is a little bit too orangey, and a little bit of peek behind the curtain. My orgeat substitute might not have been complete enough to really accomplish the same effect, but this is good. It really highlights the rum. Like I said, I really like that, the Real McCoy stuff. Fun fact, the name The Real McCoy comes from back in Prohibition days. There was a famous smuggler of like rum runner who would come from Canada across the Great Lakes or down along the eastern coast, and with boats the Coast Guard couldn't catch, with the Real McCoy. His name was McCoy, so that was like, if you wanted the real stuff, it was known as the Real McCoy. So that's where the name the Real McCoy originates from. It was like, if you got the good shit, it's the Real McCoy. Everything else was like bathtub gin, stuff that was made in back rooms and bathrooms and stuff.
Yeah.
Or you could get the
McCoy.
Real McCoy. Yeah. They're like,
I
don't want any of that fake McCoy stuff.
The dirty grubby tub McCoy. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, this recipe, Mai Tai, really lets it shine through. It's a really good combination of, you get the sweetness from that lime juice and the simple syrup with a little bit of more of an earthy flavor from the orgeat syrup and the citrusy from the lime juice and the curacao, combined with the spiced rum. It adds a very nice complex flavor. Let me read from you the history on the behind the Mai Tai. Apparently Mai Tai is the Tahitian word for good. So fun fact there. And it comes from, I think it's fair to say, the original, what would you say? The original
McCoy.
tiki bar.
Oh.
The original tiki bar.
Okay. Yeah.
Which was Trader Vic's in Oakland, California. They were the ones that started the tiki bar. A lot of famous recipes, such as like the Mai Tai, the zombie, painkiller. A lot of these, like Hurricane. I think all these famous cocktails came from Trader Vic's.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if the restaurant's still in existence. Obviously, the original owner no longer is there because this was back in 1944. Victor J. Bergeron was the owner. So the story behind this is he created this cocktail for some friends visiting from Tahiti, and one of them took a sip and exclaimed with gusto, "Mai Tai Roe," meaning out of this world. So that's where the name supposedly came from.
I'm curious though. So Mai Tai Roe means out of this world, but
Right.
Mai Tai means
Means
good.
good. I don't quite see the translation.
Okay, all right.
Right.
I'm trying to pick it up. Okay, and you
Yeah.
did say it was a dark spiced rum that goes into this.
That's what I use that. They call it for a gold rum, which I consider kind of like a Bacardi or Captain,
Okay.
you know. But this was back in 1944 was when this recipe was first created. So, like I said, really, I can see why it's a popular cocktail. Those flavors all really complement each other. But I started off by talking about some 2.5 substitutions I made. Like I said, I had the rum, I had the simple syrup, I had the lime juice from a plastic bottle that looks like a lime,
Which is the same.
which is basically the same. For the orange curacao, I use triple sec, which I think is basically the same thing. It's like an orange liqueur. I don't think anyone would really fault you for substituting one for the other. And the orgeat syrup, which is spelled Orgat. I never knew how to pronounce it. I always called it orgeat or orgeat. It's orgeat is the right pronunciation. But that is a almond syrup. It's non-alcoholic. You can buy some at your liquor store, or if you don't have any, like I don't, you can make some. Recipes I've seen online call for unsweetened almond milk, sugar, almond extract, orange blossom water, and maybe some brandy.
Interesting.
Yeah. And so what I used is I had some almond milk in the fridge. So I shook that in with the cocktail. Pretty good effect. And I also had some orange oil, which I spritzed on the cocktail glass to kind of give it that more of that citrusy aroma. And I'm pretty happy with the results. I can't give this a true Obert 5 out of 5 on the cocktail scale.
Missing half the ingredients.
But it's good enough. It's good enough to give it a solid 4 out of
Nice.
5. Makes me, want to be in a warm tropical place as opposed to a cold wintry place.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just need a nice tiki cocktail in the middle of winter to kind of, if you can't be there in spirit, you can maybe be there mentally a little bit. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. So the orgeat you were talking about, I forgot the last word, is you said it's almond. Now, is that like, I don't know, it might just be me, but is it like an overpowering like fake almond flavor, or like?
No, it's very subtle.
Okay. Because I've definitely had like fake almond, or it's seemingly fake almond. And I don't know, it's always such a turnoff to me. Like, I like almonds.
Yeah, and I feel like almond's already a pretty subtle flavor.
Yeah, so, okay.
Fun fact, apparently cyanide smells like almonds or tastes
Huh.
like almonds.
That is a fun fact.
Yeah, so now you know.
Just
If
in
you
case.
smell almonds, it could be almonds or you could be about to be poisoned.
Or you could be dead.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, like I said, just goes to show if you find a cocktail recipe that you like, maybe you don't have all the ingredients, don't give up, don't despair. Just Google some substitutions. Maybe you'll find you have something in the fridge that'll work. And luckily enough, I had some almond milk, which worked out pretty well. So
Right, that's what you do with every recipe you have.
mhm.
Who has soy sauce all the time, So you have to go on Google and pull out
Your
orange-
teriyaki.
orange juice or whatever.
Yeah.
But no, that's cool. I'm not the biggest cocktail drinker on the pod. I don't know if
Your
people
third
knew this.
biggest.
I'm third biggest for sure. And when I do make a cocktail, it's like, this is a rum and coke. But that's pretty cool. I never thought about doing something like that. So is a Mai Tai like your favorite summer beachy drink, or is it?
Ooh, good question. No, I really like. So there's sometimes ski mountains have, like, at the end of the season in April, they'll have like a tiki festival where people wear Hawaiian shirts, and they have summer cocktails and stuff. And I always went to one up at Sunday River up in Maine that had painkillers, and I love a good painkiller. And it's rum with pineapple juice, and the trick is it's ground nutmeg on the top, and it's really good. I love a good painkiller. That's a delicious rum tiki cocktail. If I ever see it on a menu, I'm like, doesn't matter what I was in the mood for, I'm getting their painkiller. And sometimes it's not always the best, but if you make a good painkiller, that's, for me, that's the tiki drink to go for sure.
Cool. Nice. Yeah, I've never had one of those. Sounds good, though. Sounds like something I'd enjoy.
Well, you're a rum fan.
I do like rum, yes. Yeah, I like rum. I don't drink it a ton, though. I mean,
well, you're a beer guy.
I'm a beer guy, and like if I'm buying hard alcohol, I generally get vodka because that's what Dana drinks. So like even if I don't want it, like she could mix herself a cocktail or something. But I actually did recently buy a bottle of Kraken rum.
Ooh.
Because I dressed up as a pirate on stream, so that was fun, and and had to have the rum, of course, and that was I mean, I still have a little bit left, but that was fun, so it was good. But I remember I just made rum and cokes, nothing crazy, and I remember being like, this was good. This was a good change,
good change of pace.
Exactly, yeah. It was a good change. I do enjoy some rum.
Well, I have friends who I would say they can't keep liquor in their house, but it's kind of like, oh, what do we have to drink? And then if they have a bottle of vodka, they'll drink the vodka till they're done with the vodka, and then they'll move on to the next thing. And they're like, but for me, as we've all heard from my creaky door, I like to keep a well-stocked liquor cabinet, and it's not like my go-to every night, but it's there if you need it. You know, that's how I like to drink.
Yeah, I've been telling myself, like, I'm just gonna get like a couple bottles of, nothing high shelf. I don't need high shelf anything really, but like, because every once in a while, like I'll have like a little bit of bourbon or whiskey or something like that. Not very often, but every once in a while.
He makes a bourbon drink. He makes a whiskey drink.
Yeah, and I'm just like, I don't know. I need to have a couple bottles just over in the cupboard that I can rely on. Because I mean, drinking beer every night is it can be a chore. It can be a chore sometime, even for beer.
Tough life. It's a tough
life. Yeah. Oh, that's
cool.
No,
I know. Episode 100, I made my next century resolution of bringing more cocktails on the podcast. So I figured I'd start tonight. Those wasn't really a Christmassy drink, but I'm thinking maybe 2021. I don't know. Maybe I'll do something like a liquor of the month where I try and explore different things. Maybe try and force me to make more cocktails, because it's easy to just find a beer before recording, but it definitely takes more forethought to have more than 2.5 of the 5 ingredients you need, which I did not do tonight, I'll admit. But maybe that's my New Year's resolution for the podcast, is to have some more. I'll double down on my 100 resolution of bringing new cocktails on the podcast. But anyway, Enough about this Mai Tai. Chris, I know you've got a beer sweat in there somewhere.
I do. How did you know? First,
because oh yeah, we got to close it.
Close the cabinet.
Yeah. But you're in North Carolina. Your beer sweats the second you take it out of the fridge there.
It's actually not too bad right now, but it has been sitting out for a little bit because I am going to have a stout tonight.
Ooh.
Everybody weighing stout tonight. And this is from...
your streamers wouldn't get that reference, right?
No, they would
stream
not.
Audience.
They would not. Nope. Oh, it just exploded all over my face. It's like so satisfying, yet troubling at the same time. So this is from Mass Landing Brewing Company, which I believe I got this one from Tud. And this is their Gunner's Daughter Milk Stout.
Ooh, I got one of these too.
Ooh, have you had it yet?
I have not.
Okay. So it is a beautifully aromatic milk stout with bold flavors of peanut butter, coffee, and dark chocolate. So it sounds spectacular.
It does sound good. I definitely read that when I got it from Tud as not Gunner's Daughter, but like Guinness something, just looking casually at the can. So, because it looks like a Guinness almost.
Oh, it smells so good. I don't have to whisper. I'm on a podcast. I should not whisper. So this thing is dark. It's about a billion SRM. It's pretty damn close. The head, nice frothy little head there. Not dissipating too fast or too quick. But it's actually like a very nice looking beer. But the smell that I commented on, I get a lot of peanut butter off of it. So I get
really?
a lot. Yes, I get a lot of peanut butter off of it, which I'm very excited for because I do love peanut butter. And honestly, I don't think I've had like a peanut butter beer that's been executed like crazy well, which is surprising. I mean, maybe it's just me, and I don't see a ton of them, but I've never seen like a peanut butter beer that I'm just like, yes, let's go. This is really good. So hopefully this is the one, Billy Gunn.
Yeah, I mean, I have my favorites, but I want to hear what you have to say about this one.
Okay, yeah. So here we go. I'm like not used to this. It's not in my poor character class, so I can fit it all, but it's just not. It's not going to happen right now. So, but here we go. This Gunner's Daughter Milk Stout. Let's see how this tastes.
It's beer 30. Chris is thirsty.
Been working like a dog all week long, so maybe something cold
won't kill me.
Because it's beer 30. It's time to party. Hey, baby.
I knew Chris would pick it up.
So this is very good. It is I get a lot of peanut butter on it. Not super sweet, which is probably a good thing. Because it probably would have been a little bit of a turn off if it was super sweet. But I think that's because of the coffee and the dark chocolate. You do pick up hints of it, but those are two very notoriously bitter things. So it works really well together. The one thing that I'm being thrown off a little bit by is that it's a milk stout, but it's not like silky smooth like a milk stout normally would be. Like this is very very pringly, like very carbonated is what I mean. Like, when you instead of having like motor oil that you're drinking from like a milk stout or like a very smooth milk stout, it isn't that smooth.
It's like once you pop, you can't stop.
Right, exactly. But the flavors are...
Wait. What do you mean by pringly?
Like it tingles. It tingles your tongue on the way down.
Did you say tingly or pringly?
I said pringly the first time.
Okay.
But I guess tingly, they're synonyms. They're fine.
Okay.
But yeah, it's just like a little... I would like it to be a little bit smoother on the mouth taste. The mouth feel, not mouth taste.
That's how I felt last week with that peppermint porter, where it was just like, didn't have that richness I was looking for.
Right. I mean, it's very good. The flavors work really well together. Like I think they nailed the balance between the peanut butter, coffee, chocolate. Just something about that mouthfeel is just a little off. It's a little off. And I don't know. I mean, I've never been to Mass Landing, or I don't know if I've ever had anything by Mass Landing.
I'd never heard of them before, to be honest.
Oh, it's up in Westbrook, Maine. It's probably why I've never heard of it before. So, but it's a good beer. I just think maybe the execution could have been a little bit better by them. Like if this was like a smooth, like one of those thicker, smoother stouts, this would be a very, very, very good beer.
Well, you think peanut butter, you don't think like a light like peanut butter's thick.
Right.
And if you want that peanut butter to shine through, I think you can't just have a watery peanut butter flavor,
Right. But it's not. I mean, like I get the peanut butter really well. It's a good beer. I mean, it's not my favorite beer. I think I'm going to give this I'm going to give it a 3.75 again. It's good. It's just it could be better. I think it could be better. But, that being said, I don't know anything about these people, so I'm going to go ahead and say that I think the beer drinkers on Untappd are going to like it. I think they're going to like it a decent amount. I'm going to say it's a 4.07.
Well, you're right. They do like it. They like it even more than you thought at a 4.18.
Okay.
So 0.11 off. And I guess I did have this one. I saw it in my fridge. I saw it no longer in my fridge, but I just assumed I moved it. I gave it a 3.75. So I'm right there with you.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm not surprised that Untappd rated it so high. Like, Untapped, Everybody knows how hard a grader I am, so.
Yeah. No check-ins from Tud to compare, unfortunately.
Okay. Tud right in.
Yeah, Tud. former and future co-host, please write in.
Right. Yeah. Currently taking a brief hiatus.
But to me, my favorite peanut butter beer is the Sweet Baby Jesus.
Okay, Sweet Baby Jesus is a solid peanut butter beer. You are correct.
That is, for me, is the pinnacle of peanut butter beers, and I hold everything up in comparison to that one.
That is a good one. Yes, you are.
Like
you are.
They have like a double version.
Yeah,
which isn't as good in my opinion. It's like too much.
Right.
Yeah, the double version is called For Pete's Sake.
Oh.
Which I think I've tried, but I haven't checked in before. But in my opinion, that one wasn't as good as the Sweet Baby Jesus. But no, that's a shame. And I mean, it sounds like we both are on the same page there. With
right.
It's just not hitting us in all those peanut buttery erogenous zones of our palate,
which are the most important zones.
Right, they really are.
When you go to sex ed class as a youngin', they talk about the peanut butter erogenous zone.
That's right. Oh.
I just thought of this. Like the 28th is CJ's birthday. I can't record. Well, I guess I could record after he goes to bed. He's going to be in bed. So, never mind. Redacted.
Yeah, whichever, like I said, for me, 27th, 28th are equally fine. But I think going forward, I would rather do Mondays.
Okay. Actually, I think I would prefer doing Mondays too, because then I could do Sunday, Tuesday streams.
Yeah.
And that'll at least give one day. Like, I don't want if I'm only able to stream 2 days, I don't want them to be back to back. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Stream to that Australian audience.
I actually do have some friends in Australia that
they watch it like 8 a.m.
Sometimes they stop in. They're like, oh, my client's coming in or something. I'm gonna lurk. I have a relatively large European audience too, so it's like,
right, because then it's a little bit, because like you stream at like midnight Europe time.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I think 11. I've been starting at like 11 or 11:30. So
Eastern?
No. GMT. But
are you okay? Since living in Montana, I've realized that like the world does not revolve around Eastern time.
Yeah,
and like I'm all for one time zone. Like let's all get on Greenwich Mean Time. So I'll talk about that because it's like we're in an interconnected world, baby. Like we just gotta get on that time zone, and then especially recording a podcast with people who I might not know what time zone they're in. I'm like, right. Okay, Texas, what time zone is that? Central Mountain Eastern? Like,
well, it's not Eastern. I know that one.
Probably not Eastern. Good point. That's a good one.
But yeah, no, I listen. I'm okay with it being EST and like
that being the one time everybody follows.
That being the one, just not to screw with my
life.
Screw
Greenwich. What did you ever do for us, Greenwich? Mean.
Yeah. Besides name one of the worst parts of Connecticut.
We're going to go with Eastern Nice Time.
Yeah, actually, what I was talking to this girl who's been in my streams, from the beginning pretty much, but like periodically, because she lives in the Ukraine, I think. And we were talking about that, and I was like, no, everybody has to be at Eastern Standard Time. She's like, no, it's terrible. It was really
It's a good time zone.
It is a good time zone. I'm a big fan.
China, it's a big country, all one time zone. They're on top of it there. We can learn a thing or two from China. If they have the time zone thing figured out. It's just China time.
It's China time, baby.
Yeah. Stop. It's China time.
Stop China time. Sorry, it's midday. It's 6 p.m. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sun's in the sky. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, this podcast comes out on the shortest day of the year. So if you're listening to us, it's probably dark.
There you go.
Which means you can start drinking. There's no excuse not to be drinking. It's dark outside, probably.
Baby,
but if it's not dark out,
outside. Oh, wait,
if it's not dark out, you should be celebrating that it's light out by drinking. So,
it is crazy how this year's like almost over.
It is crazy.
I cannot believe it. I mean, it's been, obviously we all know it's been a dumpster fire. Everybody hates 2020. It's the worst year to ever happen. So I've heard.
That's the meme going around. Yeah.
But like, I mean, I can't believe it's almost over.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, with that,
unreal.
I'm sure with an almost 3-year-old, you notice the time passing a lot faster.
It's like, it's so crazy. Like, I feel like just a few months ago, CJ was like, maybe more than a few months ago, but I feel like a few months ago, CJ was like saying his first word, and now the kid talks like straight up makes sentences and stuff. Like, it's unreal. I don't understand. And he knows so many Pokemon. And he knows, I don't know. It's unreal. Like, how having a kid, now having 2 kids, now time's going twice as fast. It's not even fair.
Or like, 2 or 1,000, who's counting?
Yeah, right. Because, like, not only is CJ going to be 3, but, like, Luke's going to be 5 months old already, which is just ridiculous. I don't even understand.
It's a lot of months.
It's so many months. So many months. But yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Don't get old, kids.
Or parents. Don't get old.
Or parents. Don't get old or become parents. Wait.
No, don't get old if you're a kid or if you're a parent.
Yes, don't do it, kids, parents.
Yeah. No, well, so
whoever you are.
It's no surprise to our listeners that we record some of these shows ahead of time. And like I said, I'm recording this one still from Connecticut. I still got to drive back to Montana. I'm looking forward to being back. But, Christmas, when you listen to this, is 4 days away. Here I am recording it. I've done 0 Christmas shopping. Time is of the essence in terms of that. So I got to get on my Christmas shopping game, especially because there's somewhere between now and then I have to drive for 4 days back across the country. And who knows, maybe I'll buy some beer when I'm driving back. I haven't quite figured out my route yet, but be nice if I could stop at that historic Casanova Liquors in Wisconsin. I don't think it's quite on the route, but I expect to show up in Montana with some good beer from across this great country of ours.
Yeah, I know. And how much of like the Connecticut beer do you have coming back with you?
I'm not bringing any back. I've been chugging it here. I've really been enjoying it in Connecticut, and I don't know, like so much of it, stuff that's from Connecticut that has been available since before I left. I haven't really been that interested in because I'm used to, I know all that, but stuff that I have been drinking while I'm here, it's like, there's just not enough room in the Forerunner. I got to save room for the stuff I can't get in Connecticut, stuff I can't get Tud to ship me.
That's a good point. That is a good point. Yeah. Yeah, I hear you.
But it'll be a lighter car ride going back west without all the beers to bring to people back in Connecticut for sure.
Your MPGs are going to skyrocket.
Oh, yeah. Well, I had them all strapped to the roof. This isn't a joke, by the way, people. I literally strapped all of the beer that I brought for Tud and Chris and everybody to my roof to the point where I had too much beer on there where like the sheet metal on the roof was like caving in. I'd go over a speed bump, but I'd hear like popping in. I'm like, maybe I have too much beer in my car.
Oh no.
But that won't be a problem driving back west. I've learned my lesson. I'm not strapping it all to the roof this time. So it'll be a little bit easier in that regard to not have a couple 100 pounds of beer on my roof.
Right. Oh, Lord. That's awesome.
Okay, so it's that time of the episode where we take our 3-handled Frosty Mug of Wisdom, we chisel a handle off of it, and we fill up our new 2-handled Mug of Wisdom up with last-minute Christmas gifts, TV shows, Wikipedia pages, USB ports, canned air, things we like, things we love, people we love. Find out on this week's version of 3-handled Frosty Mug of Wisdom. Jordan, take it away.
Test your handle. Test your handle. Test your handle. Test your handle. Mug of Wisdom! Drink. Mug Mug of Wisdom.
All right, thanks, Jordan. And as always, check him out on the Wreck My podcast, or listen to last week's episode if you want to hear his sultry voice. Tune right in there.
Just put it on repeat.
Yeah.
Just,
but make sure you delete it and re-download it. And
yes,
rate it 5 stars every episode.
Every time.
Not that you can do that, but find a new phone to rate it on 5 stars every time.
Right.
But yeah, so we have just 2 handles this week. So I'm going to start off with one of the handles. And this is a little different, but this is something I did after Thanksgiving with my sister and her family. We use the service called Game Night In. And it's a company based out of Chicago. And they used to do hosted game nights for like corporate events or whatever, where you could just come and use their space to play games. Well, during the pandemic, they transitioned and they have this new service called Game Night In, where it's a Zoom call that you can do with your friends or family or whatever. And there's one person who's the host, and they have a PowerPoint where they transition through slides and they play fun games with you. Like they had trivia games and they had like name that song games, and it was a lot of fun. I did it with my sister and like all of the in-laws families on her side, and we just had so much fun. We had maybe 10 of us or so on the Zoom call, and it really was a good way to celebrate the holiday that we couldn't do all together. And this year, when you might not be able to celebrate Christmas with everybody that you love in person, be something to maybe look at as a fun activity to do with others. And the plus side is you don't have to do any work. They did everything for us. Like they came up with all the questions, they hosted it. They told us like who the winner is, and the host was pretty charming. I could not. I get on a Skype call every week with Chris and Tud, but I could not for the life of me do it in front of 10 strangers. But this guy was pretty good. So shout out to Game Night In, and their website I think is actually GameNightOut.com, which I'll put in the show notes, because that was that focused the company before the pandemic. But it was a lot of fun, and if you're looking for like a last minute fun thing to do with family that you maybe were not able to see in person this year, I highly recommend it. It's just a ton of fun. So with that, I'm going to hand off our two-handled mug over to Chris.
Okay. Yeah, that does sound like fun.
It was a blast. Like I just texted my sister. I was like, that was so much fun. Thank you for putting that together. So
very cool. Nice. So this week I'm going to be putting over a Netflix show that you can watch for the holidays. Sure. You can watch for the holidays. It's not a holiday show.
They don't turn it off.
Yeah,
they don't turn Netflix off on Christmas.
But it's actually something that I know I've talked about a couple times tonight, and that is there's a new Pokemon series on Netflix called Pokemon Journeys, and it follows everyone's beloved favorite Pokemon trainer, Ash Ketchum.
Of course.
But it is kind of, it doesn't follow the same storyline that we've come to know and hate since when we were kids. But he partners up with this other trainer named Go, like Pokemon Go. Ha! We all love that. And they kind of split up, and they work together, but they split up, and Go wants to catch all the Pokemon while Ash wants to become a Pokemon League champion. So it's kind of like a cool little split on that. Now, it's still a Pokemon show, but it's done way better than the old ones. And granted, those are all classics and things of that nature, but it's it's a little bit more serious than the shows used to be. And Ash is not just a complete imbecile when it comes to catching and like fighting Pokemon.
So is this like a grizzled old 40-year-old Ash with like scars across his face? So he's like, listen, Go, I remember when I was your age. Just a young trainer with a Pikachu.
No. They're both young kids.
Okay.
They're both young trainers. But it's actually like pretty entertaining, especially if you're a Pokemon fan. I think it's better than the originals and the ones that like are still going on. I think they're still going on. I don't know. But I do think it's better. I've been watching it. I think they're releasing it episodically, but I was late to the game. Yeah, I was late to the game, so I was able to like kind of binge the first season, and season 2 just started, I believe. I haven't watched the new season yet, but it's also fun because CJ likes to hang out with me and point out like all the Bulbasaurs and stuff like that. So he gets a kick out of it too. So if you're anywhere from 3 to 32, I can guarantee that you're gonna like this show.
Can't say much about 5-month-olds or 90-year-olds, but
nope.
But in that range, that's the sweet spot for sure. So,
Exactly.
And it's refreshing to know that it's only on season 2. So it's like very reasonable to catch up right now.
Right, and I think the first season was 10 episodes, I think. So it's not
okay,
not 20 some odd episodes like some sitcoms or whatever, what may have you. But
so if you're on Christmas break right now, you're either a teacher or probably too young to listen to this show. But assuming you're a teacher, you could binge Pokemon, catch up, and then go back and binge 117 episodes of Drinking Alone with Friends.
There you go. Yeah. Perfect.
So we have a special feature for you all tonight.
Yes.
Or today, depending on when you listen to this podcast. No, so we have a special feature for you today. Todd is going to join us to reforge that 3 handles on our Frosty bug. He had a handle he was very excited about. He claimed this handle a long time ago. He's like, when this happens, I'm going to be the one who's bringing it on the show. So without further ado, Tud, take it away. Tell us what you got for us tonight.
Hey, everybody. So I'm joining in for a special handle this week. First of all, I'm fine and recovering just fine. I'll be back to the podcast in short order, reviewing some type of beverage, whether it's alcoholic or non-alcoholic. I'll be back. So this week, I was going to join in and do a handle of Cyberpunk 2077. But I'm going to hold it off until the bugs are fixed before I properly give a handle describing that. So I'm going to describe what I've been playing in the meantime while waiting for this for the game to improve. I actually recently downloaded Mass Effect 2 and 3 and Andromeda, and I've been playing through them kind of going in order. I almost beat Mass Effect 2 probably 7-8 years ago before I decided to never play it again. Don't know why. So I started playing Mass Effect 2 recently all over again. And I have to say, it's a really good game, really good role-playing game, good character development, the story's great, the gameplay is fun, shooting and killing aliens is always fun, can never go wrong there. Also flying around in a spaceship, also fun. So my handle this week is the Mass Effect games as a whole. If you have an Xbox with Xbox Game Pass Ultimate Edition, you can get all of the Mass Effects. Otherwise, they are pretty much older games now. You could probably catch them cheap, whether it be the PC, PS4, PS5, or Xbox, no matter the console, because they started back on 360. So that's it. That's my handle for this week. Look forward to getting back to drinking with my friends. But recovery comes first. Thanks, guys.
Okay, thank you, Tud, and glad to hear you're doing well. Joining us back in podcast world, but it's time to close out the show. As always, thanking the people who provided our beverages. I'll go first with thanking the Real McCoy for some delicious rum, and while I'm on it, I'll thank Trader Vic for the recipe, for the Mai Tai recipe.
There you go. Throw it back old school. I would like to thank Mass Landing Brewing Companies for their Gunner's Daughter Milk Stout. And make sure you go over and follow us all on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Untapped, at DAWF Podcast. Make sure you're hashtag following the email, dawfpodcast@gmail.com. Send over whatever you want to send over. just say hi or whatever you want. Make sure you're heading over to iTunes and rating us 5 stars and write a review. And if your review is funny enough, we'll read it on air. So 5 stars and a funny review. That's what you have to do. Okay.
Or you could just compliment one of the co-hosts. That's another surefire way to get on the show.
There you go. That's true, especially if it's me. But
I'm sure whichever co-host you compliment the most will be the one most likely to read it. So
exactly, that's true. Make sure you're jumping into our Discord. The link is in the description below because there's been some avid debates recently about things, and Blevin's there, so you can make fun of him and stuff like that. So you want to do that. We all know that. Make sure you follow me on Twitch at BeardadGamer. And, everybody have a happy holidays. Hopefully happy, safe, and fun holidays. Hopefully you get everything you want from Santa Claus or whomever, mom and dad.
Yep.
No, not the mom.
Merry Christmas. Yeah.
Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Well, quick programming note.
Oh, right. Yes, I forgot about that.
We're going to be shifting schedules a little bit over the coming weeks as we get Tud back online and as we transition through the holidays. So we will keep you posted when the next episode will drop. But right now it's looking like we're going to be dropping on Thursday, the 31st, last day of 2020, the dumpster fire year.
Dumpster fire year. Let's count it out, baby. Yeah. So it looks like we're going to be reverting back to our Thursday release schedule, but we will keep you all up to date, of course. But thank you guys so much for listening. And of course, my name's Chris.
And I'm Obert. And remember, if you're drinking alone, do it with friends.
Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad.
So I play this game every year where I see how long I can go before I hear that song. And every year I hear it before Christmas. But it's just a matter of how close can I make it. One year I made it till like 8 p.m. on December 24th. Before hearing that song. Lately, I've been hearing it more like third week of December, but...
That's impressive. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that doesn't count, right?
That does not count. That does not count. If I put it in the ending credits, it would count. Yeah. Feliz Navidad, everybody.
Feliz Navidad.